All right, we're doing questions from Quora today. Found this one, thought it was really interesting. It says, how do you defend against a personal injury claim when the plaintiff appeared not injured at the time of the accident? So I actually used to be a personal injury defense lawyer, and the number one thing we would say is if you weren't hurt at the time of the accident, then you're probably just making up your injuries now. That's one thing they always want to attack on is, well, if you weren't immediately hurt, there's no way you're hurt now. But it's not true. It actually doesn't kill your personal injury case, and here's why. Sometimes when you get into an accident, the pain won't hit you immediately because you got all this adrenaline flowing through your body, and then a day or two could pass and your neck starts hurting. Oh, and your back starts hurting. My back! Once the adrenaline has suppressed. My elbow! So it doesn't kill your case, but that's how they'll defend it. They'll say you aren't hurt until after you hired a lawyer. Oh no! What's this, jury duty? Ugh. What's a surefire way to get excused from jury duty? I hate this. Everybody, all my friends, all my family always ask me, how do I get out of jury duty? You should not want to get out of jury duty. Our constitutional framers and founders fought and died for the 7th Amendment right to trial by jury. It's a privilege to serve on a jury. I have talked to numerous jurors, and I've never had a juror say, I hated having to sit through this trial. 99% of the people, once they're actually picked, they enjoy it. I know it's frustrating that you gotta leave work, go down to the courthouse, get asked a bunch of personal questions from lawyers like me, but it's worth it. These are the types of freedoms we enjoy as part of the American justice system, and I really encourage people to embrace it. Outside of voting, it's the only way you can participate in our democracy. But to answer the question, if you want to get out of jury duty, just do one thing. If a lawyer doesn't believe their client's case is valid, can the lawyer refuse to represent them? The answer is no. You are forced as a lawyer to represent people that you hate no matter what unless they die. No, I'm kidding. Yes, you don't have to represent people you don't like. As a lawyer, you can withdraw from cases if there's a conflict, if you don't believe in their case or the facts go against their case. The lawyer has the ability to withdraw, especially if the lawyer doesn't think the case is valid. They probably should withdraw because then they don't believe in their case or their case isn't meritorious. The judge could actually sanction that lawyer. Say, hey, you brought a frivolous claim here. Now you're going to get sanctioned. Our courts deter frivolous lawsuits because as lawyers, we can get sanctioned and punished. We can be forced to pay money if we bring frivolous claims. So no, a lawyer does not have to represent someone who they don't think has a valid case and definitely should not do it. If you win a lawsuit and the person refuses to pay, what could happen to them? If you've won your lawsuit, I'm assuming they're meaning you went to trial, you got a judgment against the defendant, and now you got this piece of paper saying, bad guy, you owe me $1 million. What can I do? The bad guy says, I'm not paying you a cent. Well, what you do is you have to start targeting their assets. Stuff like their house, their car, their record player. But it's unique in every state. Like in Texas, we have a homestead exemption, meaning if I get a judgment against you, I can't just go and take your house. But what I can do is I can try to garnish your wages. I can go to the bank with my judgment and say, I have a valid judgment. The court has said I can garnish your wages. I can take your paycheck in order to satisfy the judgment. There's tons of different ways that you can collect on items, but it takes a really, really long time, years. I've worked on cases where we got a big trial verdict and then ended up getting the client no money because there was no assets to collect on and no way to get paid. Why can't I legally shoot someone if they look like a thug and I don't want them near me or my family? This question is unbelievable. You can't shoot someone if they look like a thug. We call that murder. Don't just go around shooting people based on how they look. You also could be a racist, maybe, depending on how this thug is dressed. Now in Texas, you do have stand your ground laws where you are legally justified to use deadly force under certain circumstances. But I can't just go off and shoot someone because they look like a thug, and you're probably gonna go to jail. You cannot shoot someone unprovoked, even if they're dressed like a thug. I want to be a lawyer. Can I take the bar in every state and practice law in all 50 states? You can. You can take the bar in every single state if you want to. I don't know why you would ever put yourself through that kind of misery and torture, but sure, you can, but you really don't need to now. Some states have adopted what's called the UBE, which is the Universal Bar Exam, where if you take the UBE and pass it, sometimes you can get admitted into multiple states. I guess you could go and sit for the bar in every state if you wanted to, but it's gonna be really expensive and would take you like 30 years because every state has different laws. But you certainly could do it if you wanted to. What's the difference between a lawyer and an attorney? A lawyer is someone that went to law school, got their JD, and passed law school. An attorney is someone who went to law school, got their JD, passed, and then took the bar exam, a miserable, horrible experience, and is now a licensed attorney in their state. Are ordinary criminal defendants allowed to broadcast far and wide while they await trial disparagements of their prosecutors, judges, or the legal system? How is such behavior not an attempt to pollute the jury pool? So this is a pretty complex question. Of course, in America, you always have your First Amendment rights. Even if you are faced with criminal charges, you have the right to free speech. That's why when you watch TV and a celebrity has a big trial, the lawyers all come out, they get in front of the mics and have these big press conferences saying, OJ didn't do it. And they have the right to do that, and it's not considered contaminating the jury pool because he has the right to free speech. Now, there are certain limitations on what you can say to the public or what you can broadcast to everyone about your trial. We could go on that for hours. One thing that is you're never allowed to do is you're never allowed to go talk to the jury. You're never allowed to contact the jury. You're also not allowed to contact the potential jury pool directly. So let's say you're going to trial in Dallas. You can't just start taking out billboards all over the city of Dallas saying, Jim Goff is innocent and he never murdered his turtle. And I put those everywhere around Dallas on billboards everywhere. So that way, my strategy is, well, if someone comes into trial, they'll say, well, I saw his billboard. He said he didn't do it. Maybe that's some reasonable doubt. I can guarantee you the prosecutor will bring up, hey, this guy's trying to taint the jury pool. There was actually a case here in Texas out of Lubbock where a civil lawyer tried to taint the jury pool and ended up getting sanctioned, but on appeal it was reversed.